Welcome to Quilts Bloom at Dawn. Today we're beginning our next sew along with the Simply Sweet pattern from Chelsi Stratton Designs, which is available either in print or download version. And we have a link in our description if you'd like to go ahead and click on that and make that purchase. It's available directly from her Etsy shop. I actually prefer a download version, so I have everything just loaded on my phone. That's how I prefer my files. But however you prefer it, go ahead and download that pattern. Displayed on the screen, you see a picture of the quilt. I just fell in love with this charming little pattern. It's a row quilt that begins with a row of mini magnolia blooms, followed by the sawtooth stars, and then we have a row of tulips, a row of 9 patches, charming little houses, some scrappy stars, and then the quilt finishes with a final row of those mini magnolia blooms. I just fell in love with every block in this pattern and couldn't wait to make it. The finished quilt measures at 58.5 by 66.5. So it's a perfect size, not too big, whether you want to hang it on the wall, drape it across your sofa, whatever you choose to do, it's just that perfect size quilt. Every Saturday, I'll be sharing, demonstrating another row of this quilt. I'll basically make one block with you, and then over the next week, we'll be able to work on the rest of our blocks. And then the following week, I'll be sharing another block from the next row. Now for the first week, which will be next Saturday, I'll be actually demonstrating the mini magnolia bloom, which again is our first row and our last row. So you'll actually have 2 rows done with that first demonstration, and it'll be a total of 12 mini magnolia blooms. Now we're not actually going to make this pattern in the order of the rows. We're going to go in the order that Chelsi presents it in the pattern. And she does this because of the cuts for the all the pieces. She starts with the larger cuts and to ensure that we have enough fabric to get through all of our blocks. So we're actually going to start with the mini magnolia blooms, which is the first and the last row. And then the second week, we'll actually be making the little charming houses. So that's what we'll be working on the next couple weeks. This is actually a fat eighth friendly quilt. So what exactly is a fat eighth? If you know what a fat quarter is, it's really just half of that. What's a fat quarter? A fat quarter is a 1/4 yard of fabric, but rather than running the length of the fabric length, so instead of it being 9 by 42 inches wide, they actually do 18 by half the length of the fabric, so it would be like 18 by 21, 22 inches long. So if you take that fat quarter and cut that in half, you end up with a fat eighth. Here's a sample of what would be a fat quarter size. Again, it's 18 inches across by half the length of the fabric, which would be about 21 or 22 inches, depending on the manufacturer. A fat eighth is exactly half of that. So instead of being 18 inches across, you got 9 inches across. 9 inches by 21 or 22 inches. If you are using a fat eighth bundle, you'll need at least 36 prints plus an additional 3 green prints that you'll use for the grass, stems, and leaves. If you are using a fat eighth bundle, you'll want to make sure that you do cut this in the order that we're presenting it, which is the same order that she presents it in the pattern. This is to ensure that you have enough fabric to cut all the pieces that you're going to need for your blocks. The way she cuts things, she starts with the larger blocks, which have obviously the larger cuts, and then works down to small. So we want to make sure we have enough for you to complete this quilt. In addition to the fat quarter bundle, you'll need 1 yard for your border, 3 3/8 yard for the background, 5/8 a yard for your binding, and 4 yards for your backing. My recommendation is to just cut what you're going to need to do one row at a time. Otherwise, you're just going to have so many small cuts. If you prefer to do all your cutting ahead of time though, go ahead and do that. Just make sure you carefully label everything and sort them so you'll have them divided by block. I'll be using Camille Ross Kelly's Rosemary Cottage collection for this quilt. I recently finished doing a king size quilt using Camille Ross Kelly's pattern from Thimble Blossoms. It's called the Swoon 16 pattern. I actually enlarged that to make a king size for my bed. Ended up with so much extra fabric. I love this collection, so I bought a lot of it. And so I have plenty left over to make this next quilt and probably a couple more. So this is a few samples from that collection. So some of these prints I'll be using, definitely this is more of a medium blue. This is a darker blue. I love this print here, but if you notice, it's got so much white in the background. It's really not going to be a good option for the blocks. So I'm actually going to set this one aside. This might be a great border or backing, but maybe not the best option for these blocks. Again, we have another, more of a turquoise here. Another one, this is actually from another collection, not the Rosemary Cottage, but it's another one of Camille Ross Kelly's from another one of her collections, and it just goes in with this fabric so well that I went on ahead and used it. You can see up against this, it just looks so good together. Let's see, I have some smaller sections. So the ones that I just showed you for the fat eighth and fat quarter, I'll use that in this. This is another one. This is probably my all-time favorite print from this collection. Matter of fact, it is the back for my bed quilt, but it's not going to be the right choice for these blocks. Same with this one, again, so much white. But the rest of these are all good options. So this one with the tulips. So really just a lot of great choices. But this is not quite enough. So that's when I went to my scraps from all of my Camille Ross Kelly fabrics. So I have a lot of old Shoreline fabrics in here, just a variety of different fabrics. So I just pulled from this and was able to get enough between all my scraps that I have everything that I need. So this is, in addition to, if you want to use a fat eighth, this will be a great time to use up scraps that you have. Just look for what's going to go together. Again, this can be a scrappy looking quilt, so you don't necessarily have to go out and purchase a fat eighth bundle. Use what you have on hand. Use your stash. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you'll gather your fabrics and join our quilt along next week, beginning next Saturday, May 5th. If you haven't already, check out our website at www.quiltsbloomatdawn.com. Subscribe to our newsletter, and you can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest for the latest updates and tips. Links can be found in the description below. Until next time, happy quilting!